Are you stuck on where to go when it comes to email marketing? Or maybe you're using a service that's just not serving you well at all? Or you just literally are just not getting the traction of the conversion that you need? This episode today is for you. We're going to dive into email marketing, where Beth started with it, where we've come from there, and how we can help you build your list and make it happen for you today. You're listening to the Girl Get Your Face Off a Bus Bench podcast, where we invite you to check your ego at the app, grab a cup of coffee, and get ready to dive into all things real estate marketing, social media, friendship, hardship, love, money mindset, and all the things that celebrate you as a badass boss babe.
We're here to encourage you, show up for you, give you a loving kick in the pants when you need it most, and be your soft place to land on the hardest of days. So pull up a seat at our table and get ready to be inspired and start living your best life by design.
Welcome to the Girl Get Your Face Off a Bus Bench podcast. We are so excited you're here.
Okay, girls, let's dive in.
Hi, Beth.
Hi, Christy.
How's it going?
I'm great. How are you?
Our construction project is,
God.
it's a total shit show.
Yeah.
It's a total shit show. But how was Spain?
Spain was incredible, and all I could think of is how can I orchestrate my life so I can live in Spain.
So
It was awesome.
maybe are you looking at investment properties?
Possibly. So I made a connection with someone that's in an organization that I know who has a property in Stitches where I would like to have a property.
Ooh.
So I'm going to connect with her and see what she has to say.
So maybe our next BPR experience
Team
retreat
outing
goes to Spain.
Oh my God. It was amazing. 300 days of sunshine, no mosquitoes. Amazing.
That sounds lovely.
Amazing. The coldest it ever gets there is like 65. Sign me up.
Sign me up too. Okay. Well,
Heat of the summer, 82 and sunny with a good breeze off the ocean.
Oh.
Off the Mediterranean Sea.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It was pretty magical. So
I'll
yeah,
wait
I
for
loved
that team retreat email invite. So today we are going to dive into email marketing.
One of your favorite topics.
It's my favorite topic. Beth has already told me, just chill out a little bit here.
Keep this episode under 3 hours, Christy.
Under 3 hours. Don't go down too many rabbit holes because I'm actually going to do another deep dive coming up here in the next few weeks because it's just way too much for one show.
Yep.
So we're going to start with just chatting email list and what's going on out there right now and the changes that need to happen because wow, right?
Yeah.
But so, well, let's kick it off with the importance of email. And the reality is, and I say this to Beth probably 85 times a week, is your email list is the only thing you own. So
I didn't know that until you and I talked about that last year. I was like, oh, that makes sense, but why don't people talk about this?
yeah, so the deal, let's kind of back up a little bit here. So we've talked about this a little bit on previous episodes, but Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever you're on, right? Anywhere you have followers, you do not own them, okay? So Instagram could decide tomorrow to shut down. It's not going to. It's too much money. But they switch up their algorithms all the time. You're constantly fighting algorithms, or you just accept that you're not going to fight them. And the reality is you don't own your followers. Someone can unfollow you. Sure, they can unsubscribe from your email list, but it's much less likely if you're serving them correctly. But you don't own them. That list is not yours. You don't have their contact information legally aside from just their username. And so the email list is truly the only thing that you own. What if your Instagram or Facebook crashed? You'd lose everyone.
Yeah. I don't think people even think about how devastating that could be.
And when we talk conversion and numbers, we all our egos love the likes on our Instagram and Facebook.
We do. I do.
Yeah. We just love it
it's
so
hard
much.
to
It's so
not
hard.
not get sucked up into that.
And email, you don't get that public, heart for sending an email. But when we talk about, do you want to make money and do you want to see conversion? Well, email. Email is the way to go.
At.
So we're going to do a deep dive and chat kind of like how we started Best Email, where we've gone, and then give you some tips on what you can do to really rock yours.
Let's do it.
Okay. So why don't you chat, Beth, like about, kind of where you started, where, those platforms you use, those services you use, and that kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah. So back in the day when I was at Keller Williams, and this is very common of any brokerage, name any brokerage, and you can probably find information that's similar to this, is that they're like within their marketing platform of a big box brokerage, you have access to templated information. So like templated emails and drip campaigns and whatnot to stay in touch with your clients. So I scheduled an appointment with the marketing gal that was at my old office, and she set me up on a monthly drip campaign where I think it was like home improvement tips or home maintenance tips that would go out. And at the time I was thinking, yay, I'm winning. So I sent it to, I think I had like 800 people on my email list at the time. It was emails that were all branded in Keller Williams colors. So it's all red, black, and gray. Nothing wrong with that, but like nothing on that email said that it didn't, none of it felt like me. I had like a little small picture in the corner. I think the team logo that I was on there, and maybe some contact info, but it was super generic information that wasn't even always relevant to the climate that I live in here in Minnesota. It didn't feel personal at all. But I thought, okay, like something is going out, something's better than nothing. And then I made like the big upgrade, and I don't know if I found it at a conference or one of those things where it's like, oh, here's some really like schwanky, personalized custom emails that you can send out weekly. And I'm like, well, weekly's better than those monthly ones that I was sending out. And they did look, like a few percent better than the Keller Williams ones that I was sending out. So they would post on my social media, and they would send out weekly emails on my behalf with my picture, a better logo. It was slightly more branded, but nothing on it was personalized. Like I couldn't put anything in there that felt custom whatsoever. And Christy was like, oh, for the love of God, why are you sending out these hideous emails?
That was like what you like call the best of the worst, right? You were using the best of the worst for that. And
they're the most popular company out there for that sort of thing.
So when Beth and I first started working together, we dove into social media first, but there was always like, we're going to go into email, but it was like let's wait a minute. We're not going to tackle everything at once, right? So a couple months in, during the height of COVID, we were like in the thick of COVID.
Oh, yeah.
That was interesting too. We started email, and I was seeing these emails come in. I'm like, okay, what are you sending right now? Oh my gosh. Beth would send me like, I wanted to see what other people were sending, like what else was going on.
I would forward her emails that I get in my inbox every week, and she's like, for the love.
I honestly, like
what in the hell is happening here?
I don't even know how to say this kindly without coming across just like not great, but it's such garbage, and it's terrifying. Some of it's terrifying. Yes. I don't even know where this is coming from. They're not being sent from someone directly. It's clearly a service, and it all looks the same. Like, I wouldn't open these. I'm not going to say subscribed on this list, and you're doing nothing to like make me know, like, and trust you. Like, this is nuts. Like, I seriously still am like, why don't you send me those emails anymore? Because they were funny. Like, it was so ridiculous, right? So I knew that like there needed to be a really, really big change. And then Beth told me, I was like, well, how many people are on your email list, Beth? I'm thinking 100, 200, 300. And you say?
I think I probably had, between all of my like weird compiled lists that I had stamped all over my computer, like 1,500.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, Beth, why in the actual are we not doing this? Like, what do you mean you have 1,500 people? Are you kidding me? And like, we don't have
here, there, everywhere. So crazy.
It was bananas. So instantly, like, get your emails, get it downloaded, get all that information. And looking at the analytics of the one she was using was like, oh my, it was just mind blowing. And I know that when you're in real estate and you need to simplify and you need services that work efficiently for you. So I totally understand why people are using these services. And maybe there's something I don't know about out there. Probably not. But the reality is the amount of money and work you're putting into them, and you're just sending out just the same thing or just something that's not going to resonate with your client. Like, what are you doing? So that was where I was like, okay, so we're going to switch, and I use Flowdesk, to a platform that I've used for a while and a lot of my creative friends use. And I'm like, we're going to switch to Flowdesk. We're going to put your emails in there, and we're going to customize, like, it's super user friendly. We're going to make it really pretty with all your brand colors, and we're going to start serving your clients the same way we serve them on our social platforms.
Well, like, what a novel idea.
Right? And
we're actually going to send them emails they actually want to read. Wow. What an idea.
Like, let's connect with human beings, right? So I remember, Beth, you had asked me, like, well, should I cancel?
That other subscription. It felt really weird because I'm like, well, I have a couple of people email me a month saying that they like my emails. And I was like, ooh, what's going to happen if we cancel this? Am I going to be able to be consistent with these new emails? And you're like, oh, for the love of God, push cancel the subscription. And the sales guy called and he's trying to like razzle dazzle me to keep my subscription going. And holy crap. Like, that was a little nerve wracking because I'm like, well, maybe we do both of them. And Christy's like, maybe no. No.
It's just, and so I guess I just want to recognize that I get change is hard.
Yeah,
I get
it is.
You think, or you tell yourself something's going to be so much harder than it's going to be because it's new and you haven't tackled it before. But there's also a thing where you're literally wasting time and you're wasting money. If you don't have an email list today, you are throwing money away. Period. You absolutely are. Yeah. You're not connecting with people how you could. And for a very, very small amount of money, very, very small, you can get the conversion that you're actually looking for and get results that you actually want to see.
Yeah, it's like those crazy percentages are like there's like a 400% return on email.
Yes.
Like, what else can you invest in for your business that you would get an ROI like that? Literally nothing.
Yeah. It's
nothing.
Yeah. So you ditched that
I did.
Service.
It was I'm sure you got a lot. You did get a lot of resistance from me. Not I'm sure. I know you did. And you're just like, okay, I'm going to push you off the cliff. Mm-hmm. You're going to learn how to fly. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
I think my biggest concern was I'm like, okay, Christy's going to make the emails beautiful. I've seen this Flowdesk thing. We had sort of tackled the email list and made, so you got to organize your email list. That was a big job. But then I'm like, how am I going to come up with content every week? That felt really overwhelming and daunting.
Mm-hmm. And so this is where we've talked about this, and we'll probably dive into this more coming up too here, is repurposing content. So we're not reinventing the wheel every single week. So when we're serving clients, we're serving, email there is going to be overlap with our social. And no, we're not posting the same exact thing for sending an email, going on Instagram, going on Facebook, going on the team page. But you're essentially repurposing content, and you have already identified your ideal target market. Yeah. You already know who your client is. You already know your brand. You already know how you're serving. So jumping into email, it's kind of a piece of cake, really.
Now that we're into it, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now that you know it's not as horrendous as you thought. Can you even imagine if you sent an email like you did before?
Well, you kind of only know what you know, right?
No,
or you don't know what you don't know.
No, but exactly.
Now when I see other people's really, let's just call them shit emails that come into my inbox every week, I'm just like, oh, yeah. Now when people thank me for the awesome emails that I send them, I'm like, yep. And I get it now because I see all these ridiculous ones that I don't even read because they're so stupid and they're not relevant to my life in any form or fashion. So yeah, I get it now. I didn't before.
No, and you were doing, like you said, the best that you knew how to do.
And I was doing what everybody else was doing.
So let's touch on that too. And that goes back to the bus benches, putting your faces on bus benches. And if you still are putting your faces on bus benches after listening to this podcast, I'd love to know why. But aside from that, there's so many things that have been done for so long in real estate and in other businesses as well.
And people don't question it because it's always how it's been done.
And there's so much money to be made in these services. And it feels super icky, and it's not the best way to serve your clients and to build, your business. So really reaching them and really using your brand voice and your colors and if you don't have that right now, like maybe you're just like working on that, like whatever you can get to make it at least cohesive every week is so important, or once a month, whenever you're going to be sending. So we switched from that platform and we dove into Flowdesk, and we've been cruising ever since.
It's been awesome.
Yeah.
The comments that we get every week, like I'll send Christy feedback of like when it first started coming in, I'm like, oh my God, like I'm getting responses from people I haven't talked to in years. I'm like, Christy, look at this. And
they're like coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, like I thought you'd get good traction, but it was so cool to see the personal. And like when you would send, like we don't only send real estate emails.
Right.
Like, so we go back to like your brand and like serving the whole thing, serving your clients well. So like we're not selling every single email. We sell actually very little via email, via social. You are building the connections and the like, know, and trust factor, and really just like communicating and building community around us. So our emails that go out are really, we cycle through topics. They're not even all real estate based.
Well, and when we ask people like, hey, what do you want to hear more about? Everyone wants to hear more about design stuff, travel stuff, marriage, funnies. So I feel like that's the stuff that really is getting people to connect with me. And then they're like, oh, and she's in interior design. Oh, and she sells real estate. We're going to talk to her when we want to sell our house.
Yeah. And the connection that Beth's making, and a lot of these people, obviously they're on your email list, right? But you reconnect and you continue to connect and you continue to foster those relationships in a really cool way. Our open rate is so high. It's amazing because people legitimately want to hear from you. So
that's awesome.
It's incredible. And I truly want this for everyone that's sending emails, like kind of stop wasting your time with the other stuff and do something that's personal to your clients, to your market. Yeah. So once we started sending them, like Beth said, she got tons of good feedback. We continued with it. We send emails out weekly.
I think the very first email that we sent out, I had someone email me back. I think you literally push send, and then within like an hour, somebody emailed me and said, hey, can you come over? And I want to talk to you about selling my house. And I'm like, oh my God. In the business, that's called a come list me call. And that is like the holy grail of real estate calls, is that when someone calls you to come sell their house, holy shit. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, you just pushed send an hour ago and I already have a piece of business from this. I'm like, what have we been waiting for this whole time?
This is what I'm saying. Okay, let's go there. So this is where I'm going to get a little jazzed here. So you're waiting, you're literally wasting money. And the more you put it off, the more money you waste. And like, what are you actually costing yourself by wasting money? Like by not sending an email? Yeah. That's the question. So if you're listening to this and you're like, I use these services, we get the conversion that we're looking for. We have people reply to us. They want to buy and sell houses. My question for you is, how much would you actually be getting if you were sending legitimate like emails that were directed to your target clients, that had your brand voice, that had your colors and like all of that in one, and you were serving them at a different level than just like real estate every single week or every single month? Like, what would that look like for you? You essentially have set this number a certain place, and it would be significantly more.
Yeah.
So
it's incredible.
Yeah, it really is. What do you think, Beth, has been like the biggest connection? Like, what is the biggest surprise for you since we started doing your emails in a different way?
I think the biggest surprise was that coming up with topics and emails every week are not as hard as I thought they would be. In my mind, I thought I was going to have to like write a book every week. And I'm like, Chrissy, I literally don't have the mental capacity to do this. And after writing them, it's like the emails, because of the layout from Flowdesk, like the layouts that you have to choose from, and like how Christy designs the emails, there's always like images in it and logos. And so like the actual write-up of the email itself isn't that long. So I was totally like overthinking it. I'm like, the email is like short, to the point, gets the point across without like going on and on like crazy. Like no one's going to read that. People are going to like dip out 5 seconds in.
They have direct access to home search right from our email.
Yep.
Them sometimes direct access to download things, direct access to the podcast. Like we're really making it super user friendly for them. And that is like, that's it. You need something user friendly, something beautiful, something that feels good, something they want to open.
For sure.
Yeah. So if you're sitting here thinking like, okay, so I don't have any emails, or I only have 30 emails, or I have 5,000 emails. What do I do here? They're all stuck in the service. What would you tell them? Like, what's the first thing you would tell them to do?
I would say pick a platform. Like obviously we're biased. We love Flowdesk. We love Flowdesk because of the ease of using it, but it's also so pretty. But there's a bunch of platforms out there. So find one that is easy to use. Find one that you like the price. Flowdesk is not that expensive. We're going to put a code in the show notes.
We get a discount.
So you can get a discount code if you want to give it a whirl. And if not, find something else that works good for you. But find a platform and stick with it. Don't jump all over on platforms. Just find one, use it, set it up, get your email lists in there, and just dive in.
So let's give 5 actionable things. So we'll start. Let's number 1, platform.
Yep, that's number 1. Pick a platform.
So number 2, I would say organize your emails, upload your email addresses, upload them to the platform, and make sure you have permission to use them.
Yep.
So the thing with this is whatever you have, you just make sure you have permission to use them. Don't just go like start stealing emails from other that you don't have permission to use. It's not good practice. It's also not legal, but that's not a good idea. But past clients that you have, friends and family. And this is something where I actually had this exact conversation with another realtor who was like, I don't want to put friends and family on my email list. It feels too awkward. It feels too weird. Like I'm selling. Well, you're not selling. You're literally like
you're
communicating
making
with
relationships.
them. Yes, you're like solving problems for them, building relationships, and they can unsubscribe if they want, but like they can also be on there. You know, like don't be afraid to include everyone. Don't just think about people that have bought or sold a home from you. Think of everyone in your life. And another thing here is when you organize in Flowdesk, for instance, or in any other service I'm assuming or platform I'm assuming, is you can put them into segments, which is Beth mentioned in the beginning, is huge. It's huge because it keeps everything so organized.
Yeah. So say for instance, so like let's just say, past clients, friends and family, vendors and other people in the industry that we work with, realtors, mortgage people, I like my coaching company, like I've got a whole bunch of coaching friends in there. So there's 1,500 names. I mean, that number is way up from last year. If you organize it, then you can send specific emails just to target certain groups too. So if you're doing a client event, for instance, then you can just click on your past client event or client list and then just send an email that targets them. So I would strongly encourage you that when you're getting this set up just from the get-go, take that extra time that you probably don't want to take, but take it and organize your list.
Yes, absolutely.
You're going to thank yourself later for digging in and doing it up front. And then it's going to run like a fine-tuned machine once it's set up properly from the beginning.
Yes. For sure. It has made our life so much easier.
I know. It's awesome.
So much easier.
Well, you got to talk about our number 3 on the list because this is totally you.
Okay.
This is your jam.
So number 3 would be come up with a strategy, like a handful of topics you're going to cycle through, use it in your email, same as you're using it in social. So when you think of your brand, so when we think of those handful of topics that we, work with our brand, that really resonate with us, with our clients, that we're cycling through on Instagram or Facebook, and that like how we're truly serving people outside of just real estate. Those are the same things you can chat about in email. Sure, your email looks different, and sure the content's going to be a little bit different, but you are not just like going to post, you're not just going to send an email that says, come to my open house or like, do you want to use me as your realtor? Which legit, we've seen this, like, you should use me because of this. Is that really? Like, that's an email? Beth does like such a variety of emails. Like we'll send travel emails, we'll send design emails. And what do people want the most of? Design and mark. You'll send marriage emails. You'll educate them on the market. We're not selling. We're educating. We're building that community, which is so much more powerful than a one-time sale. So we're doing all those things, and we're chatting about the team. We're chatting like what's going on in life. And the cool thing about it is a lot of times we give them an easy way to reply back to us if they have questions. We open that up. So we're getting engagement like we do on social media via email, which
it's so cool.
It's so fun. It's so cool. So, cycle through that. Don't think you have to sell. And then when you think about, I don't want to send that to my friends or my family because they're not clients. Well, would you send them a travel email? Would you send them an email about design? Would you send them an email to help educate them on the market because it's bananas? Like, probably.
Yeah. Why would you not?
You're probably having these conversations anyways. So figure out what's brand aligned for you and cycle through it the same and pivot when you need to.
Yep. All right. Number 4, be consistent. We're going to strongly encourage you to send a weekly email.
Absolutely.
Let's just be honest. If you have a better frequency with it, you're going to get a better result with it. But you got to start somewhere. If that feels like that's just too much, start with a monthly one and then really set a goal and a timeline to get to bi-weekly and then end up having a weekly. You're just going to get a better bang for your buck, for sure.
You are. And, this is something that we can put it off and put it off. You can post on social because it's easy or whatever. Honestly, if you're going to put all your eggs in one basket, not that I would ever do that anyways, but if you were going to put most of your eggs in one basket, they go in the email basket. They just do. So I cannot stress that enough. Like, your email is absolutely the one thing that you're going to see the most conversion from, that you're going to see the most results from, that you are going to get probably the most feedback from, and what you own. The thing you own.
And you've always, so like my emails every week go out on Tuesdays. So like clients expect that. So like once you start sending them out, you got to be consistent with that.
Yeah.
So pick, a X amount of times per month or weekly, but then pick a day of the week. And then number 5, this just leads right into number 5, is all about the analytics. So Chrissy, take this one. This one's your jam.
Okay. So paying attention to your analytics is so important on any sort of platform you're using, whether it be social media, email, anything. But with email, the cool thing is these services have like the actual analytics right in them, very, very basic, broken down, which is how we know our opens and our best times to send. So it's going to take you a few emails to send at different times to kind of get an idea of when your best time is. But once you have that, then send it at that time. Send it to that segment. Send it, make sure you're paying attention to that. It's so, so, so easy. And you can also pay attention to, I get more click-throughs when I talk about this topic, or when I word things this way, or, when I send it this time of day, that kind of thing. So you can pay attention to all of that. You can also tell where the traffic is being driven after your email is sent.
It's so incredible.
So crucial. And it allows you to work even more efficiently.
Yeah. Work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing that we actually have all that tools. And I know Flowdesk is great with that, but I think all the other sites are too.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you actually pay attention to that, like how you can actually be building your list and engaging better, like why would you not do that?
Like, do you want a third party service that's sending the same emails to they're all the same? They're all being sent the same?
Yeah.
Like that, or do you want that connection with your clients that's actually coming from you?
Yeah, I mean, you have to be realistic to think that I'm not the only realtor that my friends are getting emails from. They're getting emails from all sorts of realtors that they know.
And also,
so do I want mine to stand out? Heck yeah.
Okay, like, let's all be real here. We all know what the realtor marketing looks like. When you think of realtor marketing, that pamphlet that's stuck on your door when you get home, or that postcard that comes in the mail, or that bus bench when you drive to the grocery store, or that email that ends up in your junk box or you delete. Like, we're over it. People are so over it. So like, let's serve them at so much better and serve them at a higher capacity and really like shake things up.
Absolutely.
Whew. That was kind of fun.
Well, and you didn't even go down any rabbit holes.
I didn't. I kept it together. I'm really excited to dive into how to build your email list, how to get people to sign up for it, more on the analytics, how to really make it serve you well, like, and make it easy. And so much more, but that's going to be in a few weeks, so we can not flood your brain with so much information today.
That'll be a good one.
It will be.
And then also don't miss, like in our show notes, you're going to get the discount code for Flow Desk if you want to give that a try. Our shameless plug, we do love it, but it might not be the platform for everyone. But since we started emails last year, people kept asking, like, what are you using? Your emails are beautiful. And I've had a lot of realtor friends jump on the Flow Desk train and they're like, oh my God, I love doing emails now. It's the platform is easy to use. Mm-hmm. The emails are gorgeous and you get all the analytics. Yep. So it's totally a no-brainer and it's really reasonably priced.
It is.
Yeah. So it's a winner in our book.
It is a winner in our book. So we hope that this left you feeling inspired to tackle that email list, build it, or to dive in if you haven't, or say goodbye to that crummy service that's not serving you.
Yes.
But until next time, remember to keep your face off a bus bench and keep celebrating the badass boss babe that you are. Okay, girls, are you feeling as inspired as we are? We're over here cheering you on because you just finished another episode of the Girl, Get Your Face Off a Bus Bench podcast.
If you want more, head over to girlgetyourfaceoffabusbench.com for show notes and more episodes. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. They mean the world to us and they're what keep us going.
Girl, thanks for being here.